Hey, it's Alex here, and today I want to talk to you guys about how to scale your business from 1 mil to 10 mil plus in revenue and the 6 common problems that most businesses face trying to get there. So, yeah, I think the most common mistake that businesses make is that they want to jump straight into the growth initiatives without actually putting into the foundational layers and making sure that their foundations are really solid before they grow and scale. So I put together a little, I'll just share screen, a little presentation for you guys that articulates, here we go, that articulates this a little bit clearer. So here we go. So we can think of the foundational layers. It's like you're climbing Mount Everest, right? And your foundational layers is almost like you've made it to base camp, got a really solid foundation, and then, you know, you want to take it beyond that. So this is and the ramp up is like all the leveraging kind of stuff. So most businesses they want to like skip to like this part here and jump straight to here, but without actually having that really solid foundation. And yeah, that's why like businesses, their growth rate slows. So the biggest problem that I find most business owners face is that they're time poor. So they're constantly fighting fires. They've always got a million priorities. They never have free time, and the business won't run without them. So what we want to do is basically change that to basically making you time rich. And so that's when you have a clear focus on what you're working on. You can choose your own hours. You're working smart, not hard. And then eventually you'll transition from, say, an operator into an owner position, so that you're working, you're not working in the business anymore, or like you're working because you want to. And the way that we do that is by setting goals. So we're getting really clear on why you got into business in the first place and what you want to achieve. Like if you've got any exit strategies, getting clear on that, getting clear on your company values. So what does your company stand for? What values do you want your staff to uphold and present to your customers? And then what's your brand look like as well? I'll put all that under goals. Next would be a productivity peak. So this is where you'd want to put a productivity system in place. So you want to be automating, delegating, or systemizing like any of the menial tasks that you do that are not growth related. So putting in a system so that you can focus as much of your time as possible as the founder on growing the business, not actually doing like stuff like admin or customer service or, those tasks that you could get someone else to do. So that's going to massively help free up your time. Oh, sorry, wrong way. And then the third one in making you time rich is getting really clear on your project strategy. So I would say choosing top 3 projects that you're going to focus on for the year, put in some key metrics around that. You want to be weighing up like which ones are going to generate the most revenue for the least risk, and you can deliver in the shortest amount of time. So that's like your low hanging fruit kind of projects. And make sure that you're prioritizing those at the start of each day and really getting, moving the needle on those ones. And those ones combined should be making you guys time rich, which means you can focus on other growth things. Second problem would be numeric chaos, so not being across the numbers. A lot of the businesses that I work with, they have creative founders, so really great at getting the product, love the product, really understand the customer, getting it off the ground, but sometimes can struggle a little bit with understanding the numerics behind the business and how you can utilize them to grow. So I know there's a lot of pressure on you at that size, right? You don't want to make the wrong decision, like your staff will lose their jobs, you could lose the business. We want to turn this into numeric mastery. So you'll feel confident in the performance of the business. At any point in time, you know exactly how the business is performing. It'll be secure, it'll be scalable. You'll know when you can take money out of the business. And then the way that you would do that is looking at your top metrics. So which ones support your project growth strategy, decide on what they are, set targets and track them daily, weekly and monthly. Secondly, putting together a budget. So this is going to mean that your planning is consistent and you can align the entire company towards like a common goal. So it'll also help you make sure that you're generating enough profit, which is very important. And then thirdly, focusing on your P&L. So really intricately understanding the different buckets in the P&L, how they all work together, getting into a really good rhythm with your accountant because time is money. So getting fast turnarounds for your reports, and that way you can make really good decisions that's going to maximize your profit and your growth trajectory. And then thirdly, staff headaches is a huge one. So, you know, a lot of businesses that are between the 1 to 5 mil mark, they find they've got like a really junior team. A lot of the time they've promoted within, you know, they don't feel like they can trust their staff or hold them accountable. Not because they're not good people, it's just like the business has grown and what the business needs now is more than what it needed before. So a lot of the founders are like constantly stepping in, you know, trying to like fix problems, and they're also not sure if they can afford to hire someone. So, which is, you know, how all this is interconnected. You know, once you understand like your P&L, it's really clear, you'll know like, can I afford to hire someone, and when's that right time? So yeah, we want to basically turn that into a dream team, which is people that you can trust, where your staff take full ownership and you spend minimal time managing, and you also know like who to hire and when you can afford to hire them. So the way I do that is focusing on an org chart. So yeah, again, who to hire, what level to hire, making sure they're not too junior, making sure you're giving them the right title and recruiting in the right way so that you're attracting the best candidates. Secondly, putting in a KPI framework. So really setting clear KPIs based off your top business metrics so that your staff actually know if they're performing or not. And then you can also see like at any point in time how everyone's doing. And then thirdly, for Dream Team, it'd be putting in place a performance framework. So setting regular check-ins with your staff, making sure that, that they're performing, and, you know, we have a bit of a framework for promotions and stuff, like how and when do you promote, that kind of thing. So here we go. Let me just continue on here. So that's basically the foundational layer. So can you guys see, I'll just go back. Can you see how if you don't have, like if you jump straight into your growth initiatives, like scaling your marketing or expanding your product, things like that, if you don't actually have the right team in place, you don't know your numbers and you don't have the time, then you're actually not going to be able to scale fast enough. So it's really important to get this like foundational kind of piece right before you jump into those like high growth initiatives, which is what we're going to talk about now. So this is the second part, the ramp up phase. So again, we're going to be looking at the common mistakes. So, you know, a lot of businesses have issues with their marketing. They're not sure what their marketing metrics are. You know, they have issues scaling it. They don't know if their channels are profitable. You know, their sales often spike and fall with the launch of campaigns, or like, you know, they need more sales just in general. So what we want to do is change that into infinite marketing. So at this, you know, with infinite marketing, you'll basically know all your marketing metrics. You can have confidence that your marketing works and that it's profitable and that you can scale, and then really get those sales consistently coming in and steadily growing. So the way that we would do that would be through paid media. So that's basically going to allow you to profitably scale the business. So, and also looking at how to actually get more dollar profit to the bottom line. So a lot of businesses don't realize, but if you increase your spends and decrease your ROAS, which is a byproduct of increasing your spend, you're often going to make more like dollars in profit to the bottom line. So really understanding that, how you hire the right agency to run your marketing, that's super important. And then, yeah, working out where to spend. The second side to this is the creative. So really cementing the creative feedback loop between your performance marketing. So you know, how the creative's doing on paid media and who's actually designing it. So getting the right testing cycles, getting the right velocity of creative, and putting in a structure for, you know, campaign releases versus like an always on kind of activity. So yeah, getting those rhythms right is super important with creative. And then thirdly, content. So basically making sure that you're generating content in the most efficient way. So you could do it in-house, outsourcing, you can use influencers, very exciting, and user-generated content. There's even affiliates that can go in here, and all of this content that you're producing is basically fueling your marketing machine. All right, so the next common problem, uncontrolled product. So this is where, you know, a lot of businesses have problems like their bestsellers keep selling out, or they can't get their stock in fast enough, or the worst one, they've got too much stock. That's a scary one. They don't have the right stock, or, you know, the sales are super seasonal, like, you know, it's a huge boom in summer and then like, oh my God, like what are we selling in winter? So yeah, basically what we want to do is take uncontrolled product and turn it into power product. So your best sellers are always in stock, they keep selling, you know, you've got super fast lead times, a consistent flow of like new best-selling product, and your stock's selling all year round. So how we do that is inventory management. So making sure that you've got the right stock, you've got enough new stock versus repeat stock, you've got enough depth in your best sellers, tracking of your product, critical path is critical. Yeah, and then how we also align this to marketing, yeah, and to reduce lead times, that's key as well. So secondly, making sure that your product reports are really solid. So getting into a really nice reporting rhythm, you know, your bestsellers reports, your age stock, and looking at your clearance strategy as well is super important. And how you communicate that to, I guess, like your marketing department. And then thirdly, range expansion. This is a huge one. Could literally, like with the right range expansion, you could double your revenue within 3 months if you're expanding into the right type of product. So yeah, this is all about appealing to more people. So a lot of businesses that I work with, they start with, say, one really strong product, and that, you know, easily gets them to the mil turnover mark. But then it's like, well, how do we scale beyond that? So range expansion is the key, and it really strongly supports your paid media growth as well. So, you know, appealing to a wider range of people, you know, giving your customer opportunity to do more repeat purchases because you've got more product available for them to buy. And there's also strategies that we can use to help you overcome seasonality in terms of your range expansion, which is super important. And then thirdly, third biggest problem for this phase is missed sales. So, you know, your website's not converting as well as it could be, you're missing out on sales, you're not sure how to reach new markets, and all your sales only come from a few temperamental sales channels. So you've got all your eggs in one basket. So what we want to do is change this to maximum conversion. And then you do that by basically optimizing your website and making sure that it converts. And then, yeah, expanding into new markets is key. And yeah, just making sure you're no longer dependent on those temperamental sales channels. So do that by basically looking at your website and increasing your conversion rate. So new markets, the two biggest ones I would say is international, so international expansion, and then also a lot of my clients look at diversifying outside of ecom into wholesale. That's actually quite common, and I'm liking it more and more because I just think it future-proofs your business in terms of like having a non-digital channel. It's also, you know, there's pros and cons to your brand and stuff as well, but yeah, that's a really cool strategy you can look at for new markets. And then retention would be the final piece. So how do you keep those customers coming back to you, you know, nurturing them through email and building a really strong community? So that's essentially the summary of the biggest kind of problems and solutions and how I would navigate them. So yeah, if you'd like some help with this, comment growth below and I can get you some more information. All right, thanks guys.